Hello, 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 everybody. It is so good to see all of your digital non-existent faces in the chat. Welcome to a very, very special stream right here on Transplanar RPG. But before I get too ahead of myself, hi everyone, I'm Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me on the internet across all platforms, Twitter, Itch, Ko-Fi, TikTok at by Connie Chang. That's BYCONNIECHANG. I'm so excited to pass along introductions up and over to Val.
Hi everyone, my name is Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm a TTRPG performer and Twitch variety streamer. You can find me at either at Valiant Dorian or at Otso Spirit Bear. Good luck on that treasure hunt. I'm passing things over on to Mitzi.
Hello, my name is Mitzi. My pronouns are they, them, and I am a Filipino trans non-binary variety streamer on Twitch. I do video games there, and I also a TTRPG person. I am a GM, a player, a performer, and a designer. You can find me at Pukepeku, that's PUKEPEKU, on Twitter, and you can find my card there as well if you want to find it. I'm gonna pass it along to Erica.
Hi everybody, I'm Erica, she, her pronouns. I'm a white queer trans woman. You can find me at Erica New Girl everywhere I exist in the world. You can find me as Vnog Scherzo over on we're at Transplanar RPG right now. So this is where you can find me as V. You can also find me over at my channel, Erica New Girl, where this coming weekend I'm doing the Game On to End Lupus fundraiser. We're trying to raise a lot of money for the Lupus Foundation of America, so if you have time this weekend to come hang out and troll me a bunch for charity, come hang out with me this weekend. It should be a fun time. And with that, I'm going to pass to our lovely sort of host of the day, Rue.
Hello, Hello, I'm Rue. I use they, he, or z pronouns. You can find me on Twitter as at Ilana Knight 13. That's ILANANIGHT, and then the number 13. And everywhere else as just Ilana Knight. I'm a tabletop streamer, content creator, and sensitivity reader. And today we are playing the game that myself and Quintastic wrote, Brick. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that once we get into the game. But I'm going to hand it back over to Connie for transplaner announcements.
Yes, thank you, Rue. So some quick announcements on the transplaner. And hello, if you're here for the first time. Wow, we're almost at $250 out of $500 funded for a Brick. Hell yeah! We are like less than $20 away from getting that Voska Rise emote drawn by our resident artist. So donate if you can. Go buy this game. It's freaking amazing. I'm so excited to playtest it. But that aside, Transplaner that you're watching this awesome stream on is an all transgender, people of color led 100% homebrew D&D show set in Andake, sparkle sparkle, gleam gleam, gay gay, an original non-colonial anti-orientalist world. We are a grim, dark, gritty fantasy campaign set in a post-apocalyptic realm that tells stories about queer grief, tragedy, and hope. Basically, it's the L word. If the L word were filled with people of color, meets like the literal end of the world. So if that's interesting to you, tune in Saturdays to our main campaign, The Second Stranger, at 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Our next episode is this Saturday. It is the grand finale of one of our two parties that we follow through each arc. The Dabathani party, shit's popping off. Tune in this Saturday. It's going to be incredible. And then next Saturday is the grand finale of the entire arc of Arc 5 itself. So follow us and tune in Saturday if you are not going to do that already. That's it. That's all the translator announcements out of the way. I'm going to pass things back over to our incredible facilitator for this afternoon, Rue. Take it away.
Hello, and thank you all for joining us. This is a streamed playtest of Brick, which is itch funding right now. And thank you to mods and everyone putting the link in the chat. And huge thank you to Transplaner for hosting us. Brick is a queer fury dream about trans folks building a safe space and protecting it from outside influences. This game will have some levels of discussion of systemic oppression, always being beaten back by our party here. But if that is too much for you, please take some space for yourself. Don't put yourself in a difficult position. I know politically we're kind of experiencing a lot right now, especially if you live in the US or anywhere, I guess. So make sure that you take some time for yourself if anything is too much for you. This game was written by myself and Quinn B. Rodriguez, and you can find it on their itch. And we're going to start. I'm going to read some of the beautiful flavor text that Quinn has written for this game, and then we're going to start by building characters on stream. Your story begins where a brick meets glass, a single prismatic shard reflecting light, a speck of hope in a violent shower. You are mortals, but you are remarkable. You have found the mirror realm, a space between, a space untouched, a space to call yours. It bends to your touch, it twists to meet your needs. Finally, you have found your haven. This is a Caltrip core game, so all of our things will be done using D4s. The Caltrip core system was designed by Lex at Tatanamaki RPG on Twitter, and it is an SRD that is free to download and build your own games off of. So if you're interested in that structure, we have Lex to thank for it. So we're going to start by building characters, and the way that characters work in this game is that we have 3 stats: rage, compassion, and pride. Everyone starts with 1 die in each of those. And then in your character building, you give yourself a legacy, a background, something that you come from, and add 1 to any of those dice pools. And then you give yourself a specialization, which is this game's very vague concept of class. And you add another 1 to any given dice pool and build yourself a special move. We have several examples in the guide. You can choose from those, or you can build your own. Would anyone like to go first?
Ooh. Do we start on page 2 of the doc? So building the mirror realm, is that what we're doing, or are we doing?
We're gonna do characters first.
Okay, cool.
It is something in my notes to rearrange this to do characters first. But yes, we're gonna build characters first and then the world that we live in.
Thank you
So
for
you
clarifying.
want to start on page 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can go first.
All right.
So wait, how do I explain what I have in mind? Like, do I just say what stats I pulled, the legacy, and what the specialization would be?
Yeah, and then give me your characters like name, pronouns, things like that. as
Somehow
well.
that's the hardest part, but okay.
Maybe we can end with that.
Yeah,
Or
we
something.
can
I'm
figure those
like-
out later. It's okay.
But yeah, so the first thing that I picked was the specialization. So I picked gardener. So I would have +1 to compassion, and gardener, it says here, is to turn the soil and start something entirely new. And then the legacy I chose would be rage, the one that gives me rage. So if ever, my stats would be rage 2, compassion 2, and pride 1.
Yep.
And then, oh wait, I did think of a name earlier. Oh yeah. So the name of my character would be Kasing, because if you say it twice, Kasing Kasing, that means heart. Their pronouns would be they, them, because my brain finds it easier that way.
Perfect. I will write that down for myself.
Building a character is always the hardest part for me. I'm like, should I start with the legacy? Should I start with the specialization? What do I do? So many possibilities.
I
Just start by
am-
saying butch lesbian.
Okay, yeah, well, that's
Yep.
like I don't even have to say it, Mitzi. It's so obvious I'm gonna play a hot butch lesbian. You know what? Okay,
that can be your specialization if you would like it to be.
You know what? You know what? My specialization is that I'm a lesbian. It is like all of us are queer, but I'm known for being the lesbian. That's hilarious. Could I choose like okay, everyone's gonna be like Connie, obviously you're gonna choose this. Could I like make one up? Like I'm thinking of
Please. do.
yeah, calling it like the maybe like the I'm either thinking the knight,
Ooh.
Kingsguard, or the breaker. Someone who
Ooh.
smash and protect. But I'm not sure. I think I like Kingsguard. That sounds
I love
Kingsguard sounds sexy.
Kingsguard.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kingsguard. Okay. I think I am adept. The Kingsguard is adept at protecting people they love.
Protecting.
Yeah, protecting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll clean it up later. But I'm thinking,
No worries.
yeah, we'll see. I think probably in Pride then for situations that hit close to home because they're all about
Hell
protecting
yeah.
things that are close to home. So add one in Pride. And do I come up with like a cool little like move?
Yeah. And it can be literally anything you want. There is no limitation to what you can do with your special move.
Cool. I think it'll be like I don't know what the name is yet, but I think it's something like roll Pride to take someone else's failure and make it your own.
Oh.
Maybe like to like like throw myself to
Yeah.
throw yourself into the line of danger, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
On the fly game design. Let's go.
That is part of this the system. It's like, all right, everybody on your toes to build your characters. And do you have thoughts on a name and pronouns for them? Or a legacy to give them another +1 in a different stat?
Circle back to me, I think. I'm gonna have to think on that a bit more.
Perfect. Val or Erica, who would like to be under the spotlight next?
I'll go. Because I've been able to have a little bit of time to sketch out. I'm gonna be super basic and choose a name Anne.
Right.
ANN. She, they pronouns. She is this. Her legacy is the first poet laureate punk. The first poet laureate punk.
I
What does
love
that mean? I don't know, except that she'll give +1 to compassion. She'll take a +1 to compassion. And her specialization is organizing spoken word jams, which adds a +1 to pride.
Ooh, I love that. I'm very excited to go to a spoken word jam at Anne's thing.
Exactly.
All right, Val.
All
Last
right.
but not least.
Thank you. I'm glad that everyone went because it gives me an idea of what I wanted to do with my specialization. So I'll be playing Farhan, who uses he, him pronouns. And I will be playing a driver because y'all need places to go, I'm pretty sure. And having someone to do that would be pretty handy. So I'll play the driver, and the drivers would have to get in and out of everywhere. So I'll add 1 more to my rage, which I personally love being angry. And my special ability is Hot Rod, so roll rage to push through a difficult spot. Is there
Are
anything
you
else I
gonna
need?
drive us in a pickup truck?
Yeah, what
Hell
kind of car
yeah.
do you have? A pickup truck?
A pickup truck, absolutely. Because
Hell
then you
yeah.
have like the back portion of the trunk where folks can just sit and lounge as well and riot essentially, and I'm very into that energy.
You can
honestly.
fit so many bricks in the back of a pickup truck.
Yes. I can fit so many bricks in here in this baby.
Max the roof of my car. And what would you like your legacy to add to?
That's the bit that I am going to say I would like my legacy to increase my pride,
All right.
because I think there's a great pride in being the individual that drives folks around and being that kind of cornerstone within community.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
As someone who is the driving gay in my household, yes, there's a lot of pride in being the driving gay in a given house.
You know what's ironic is that I'm not the driving gay, actually.
Living
But I like to embody the energy sometimes.
living your fantasy of being
I
able
am.
to drive.
Oh, Connie, have you mentioned the name of your character?
Hardest question yet. I'm gonna turn that. Erica, what's the name of your character again? Because I'm taking notes and I forget.
Anne?
Anne. Okay. Is that with an E?
How about just AN? Let's
Whoa.
shorten it to
Just
AN.
one
Anne.
N,
Okay.
Powerful.
We have a cussing Anne and a Farhan. So I will be called emotionally unavailable butch lesbians. Commune through me now. Give me a name. Give me a name. Let's see.
Connie.
Fuck you. Wow, that was out of pocket. Oh my god, violence has been committed tonight. See, I know you're in chat. What was that really hot name I came up with that I offered to you that you didn't want to use?
Litany?
No.
Litany.
Litany?
Sybil.
Sip. There's already a Crucible NPC in my campaign, but should I reuse it? This is the hardest part. I'm so sorry. I'm like squanching up the action.
Go
Oh
ahead.
no, you're so fine. This part is supposed to be like
This is the
all
riveting
right,
drama.
Yeah.
Chisel. Let's go with Chisel.
Chisel. Oh,
Okay.
that's really good.
Yeah. Okay.
What are Chisel's
Pronouns.
pronouns?
Oh God. They, she. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And in terms of legacy, to add one to another stat, what would you
I've-
like?
I've taken compassion.
Ooh.
I've taken compassion. Yeah.
All right.
Do you have to mention what our legacy means, if ever?
If you want to, you don't have to if you don't want to disclose that. But if like there is a backstory thing or a important thing with your legacy that you want to share, it is totally encouraged.
Oh, okay. Because the reason why I took rage was because I don't know how to encapsulate it in one term or phrase, but basically because their experience with masculinity is harmful masculinity that comes with rage that comes with toxic masculinity. There we go. So they have that rage, but they've processed it in the way that it comes out as compassion, hence their specialization.
I love that. Does anyone else want to share their legacy stuff? If not, we can move to the next step.
I'd love to try to discover it while we play, because I have kind of an idea, but I'm like super open to it changing and be replaced by something else better and more interesting. So I do want it to be compassion, though, because I think I'm going to play against type, everyone. I'm playing against type, and I'm leaning into compassion. I only have 1d4 in rage, so...
Don't hurt yourself.
Ooh.
Hey, Eric, that's the second shot fired from Erica tonight. Wow.
Make it 2 out of 3, Erica.
Sorry that
science.
I've come onto your channel and caused direct harm to your producer. This part for my players is not in the text that you have. It's something that we're adding because I realized we didn't have it. Before we build the mirror realm with the rolling tables, we're going to go around and build the like physical world that you live in. So we're going to go around and everyone can add as many things as they like to the world, as long as each person gets to add at least one. So like you're not limited to only adding one thing to the world, but I want to make sure that everyone's voice gets to be heard in the world that you live in. And it can be things that you like, things that you don't like, just kind of plain facts. Like what kind of city or town you live in, what is in that city or town, things like that. So just whatever you want to be in the world that we're playing in.
Is there a particular page we can flip to, or is this more like a freeform kind of moment?
This is a freeform bit because it's not in the game yet because we forgot to include it
Cool.
when we did the early access.
This is like the mundane world, right? Like
Yes,
not the mirror realm.
this is-
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess that is true. The caveat is that things that are here are not necessarily like magical. This is the mundane. So it can be any level of technology here. Like one of our playtests decided to make like a cyberpunk kind of city. It just can't be like there are unicorns, that sort of thing.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about the choice of name for your specialization here, Connie. And I'm thinking maybe we jump over there.
Are we like medieval? I'm thinking like medieval Europe. Like some sort of like
I'm in a carriage.
Yeah.
You're in a carriage. Hell yeah. Pickup truck carriage.
A carriage. Or you're like really good on horseback or something. Something sexier than like a carriage driver. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
How dare you?
I'm gonna drive the rest of you.
What, you gonna run me over with your crickety wheels? See, that's like so less intimidating than like a really cool horse.
How dare you, Connie? Carriages can be sexy.
No, it's one of these like ye old England like black carriages with the
okay,
the black thin wheels and 4 horses.
Ooh,
so
4.
It's literally, yeah.
4
so
horses.
It is kind of like this large carriage that's usually used to kind of like transport like nobility, and I kind of really like the idea of subverting that a little bit more and subverting that Gothic class stereotype.
Okay,
and using it
Farhan.
for the
All right.
gays.
Okay, I'm into it. You just gave me an idea. Speaking of nobility.
Also leather.
Oh, leather.
Obviously.
Just putting that out there.
I have an important question. Do you mean Farhan is wearing leather or the horses are in leather?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Leather daddy horses. Understood.
Jesus. I have an idea. What if, so I'm thinking Chisel is like, I want their like lineage to be nobility. I think like they're like the scion of like some sort of like noble family. Maybe like the family specifically are a series of like our Kingsguard. Like they like protect they protect the royals, right? But Chisel was like a revolutionary, and they're like trying to, but they're like they like tread both worlds a little bit, right? And like they're trying to like, you know, they're like, oh, what if I like change things from the inside, or like, oh, I can get close to the king to like gank him, right? Because he sucks, but hasn't gotten there yet. So the compassion, because people are good at like talking and manipulating, like that's my understanding of that stat. So I think that's where the compassion comes in. Like they know how to conduct themselves and how to say the right things at the right time.
I love that for Chisel. For my own building, are we going with like a like what Val was saying, like a Gothic time period, or are we going like is that good with everyone?
I'm good with it.
I'm into it. I'm thinking like Ravenloft without like the overt magic. It's just it's just the dark age in Europe. It's just like Rats of London sort of situation where like
Ravenloft without the magic.
I'm thinking like
It's
decadent.
around the cozy time.
Yes, exactly. And like
The
nobles
Black Plague is here.
100%. Like I'm imagining like lavish castles that are like have like started to come to ruin. Like ivy's starting to overtake it, and like parts of the grounds are being overrun, but people still live in them because they're clinging on to the last vestiges of their wealth. They'd like rather hold on to this decaying power than to like change the world order to something more sustainable. That's like my thought of it.
I'm down with that, honestly. With 4? I don't know.
Love that. Mitzi and Erica, what are your thoughts of things you'd like to add?
I think in terms of Anne's space in this world, there's probably like a you know, a town square, a village square, that Anne has built out of just chunks of lumber and whatever into like a small, tiny stage, enough for just one person to stand at and shout their goings on in the world. And I think sitting next to it on the ground is like a little tiny harpsichord that Anne always wishes was something that she could bang on harder, but because she's banged on it so hard and been so punk, all of the strings of the harpsichord have broke except for one, so it can only play one note. But man, she will play the hell out of that one note while reciting poetry, or having other people go on this little stage and reciting their poetry and so on and so forth.
Is it a high G?
Yes, you know, she's holding on to that G string for all it's worth.
Oh boy.
When the G string snaps, you know you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got leather horses and G-strings already.
I'm naming these horses.
Please tell me their names.
We have Voyager, Jester, Fallacy, and Tribute.
What was that? Voyager, Jester.
Fallacy and Tribute.
Oh my God.
I spelt fallacy really wrong, but that's okay.
That's fine.
How to tell Val that he's gay without saying he's gay.
Gotta
Wait,
throw in the
okay.
gay names in there somehow.
Oh yeah, because we have no gay names with our player characters, none at all.
Diversity. And representation matters, actually.
Diversity win. The horses pulling your carriage are gay.
But yeah, with regards to cussing, I think like not so far out, but definitely within the outskirts of the village. Or is that what we have? A village? It's kind of like on the outskirts of the village. There's like a swath of land where it's you know those community gardens, something like that. Kasing would be the one just organizing all of that and making sure everything is in place and everyone gets their fair share or equitable share.
I didn't put it on the bingo because I put weed garden, but every single group that has played this game has built a community garden as well.
I mean, there's definitely gonna be weed in there somewhere.
Yield
grow weed
lettuce.
in The old devil's lettuce.
Devil's lettuce. Yeah.
Oh, ow, I dropped my notebook. Directly on
Also,
the
I just realized because like while everyone was talking, without really thinking about it, I put in my notes Farhan in leather as with horses.
Why does that sound like a Bible verse to me?
It
And then
does.
he spake upon Farhan in leather as with horses. And Farhan begat fallacy, and fallacy begat.
This is incredible because even when unintentionally involved in a TTRPG, I will find my way back to Abrahamic religions. I will. It doesn't matter. It will happen.
It will
I
happen.
love
Did we just
Unfortunately, yeah. This is a total tangent, but I've decided I want to change Chisel's name. I don't actually like Chisel. I want to change it to Stag. Her name is Stag.
Oh
Oh, I love
God.
that.
I know, right? Chisel's like, Stag's like, so.
That's really good. Stag the King's Guard. Okay. Is there, everyone's done one thing. Is there anything anyone else wants to add? Because you're free to add as many things to this world as you want.
Are people okay if there's a festival, like a specific kind? I think I'm like obsessed with holidays, like fake holidays, where to keep spirits up, the nobility, like the little like royal family that rules this village, kind of like, okay, this might be too dark, but like I'm thinking like something like kind of in the lottery or something, where like one random civilian or like is chosen to like answer for everyone's sins, and we're like, if we kill this person, then like, you know, our crops will flourish. Because I'm thinking like now is a really godless time. It is a really godless, hopeless, desperate, dark time. So I'm thinking like some sort of like fucked up ritual might be happening that maybe like we could be trying to stop or something. Or like, I don't know. I just like the idea of like the people in charge being like, yes, kill the peasants, right? Like very like,
Can you do that voice again?
yes, kill the peasants, but let them kill each other. Divide and
Thank you.
conquer. Yeah.
That's actually your best British accent I've ever heard.
Fuck
That's not
off.
saying much.
All right then. You want to
Why are you Australian? Why are you Australian? As the resident British,
I thought I was being Cockney, isn't it? No,
Cockney
okay.
accent in it.
In it. Okay, we can.
In it. What is happening? But yes, I'm into this fucked up holiday. That's fine.
Well, yeah, I love human sacrifice holiday is what I have written on my notebook.
I feel like it has to have like a fucked up name. Like that's something that's like innocuous though.
Like, well, see, we already have a horse named Tribute, but my brain said the day of tribute. But we have a horse named Tribute.
Meanwhile, there's a horse stomper. I'm like, it's my day. It's my day.
No, protect my horse.
see.
Nothing should happen to my horse.
I'm looking up synonyms for tribute.
It's Special Volunteer Day.
Volunteer
day of happiness.
Appreciation Day.
Jesus. Homage, plaudit, glory, eulogy.
Oh my god, the eulogy?
Happy
The
eulogy day, everybody.
Happy
Oh!
eulogy. Just happy eulogy.
eulogy.
Just eulogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, ominous. I love that.
I can't wait to absolutely wreck eulogy with
It's just
my
it's
horses.
medieval Hunger Games. We've created medieval Hunger Games.
Or yeah, because the other one's called The Lottery, right?
Yeah.
Is that what the
Yeah.
that, like,
yes.
the,
Yes.
the story we all had to read for school that was like really fucked up, and they were like, "Here, 8th graders, read this totally normal
Really
story."
good story.
All right, happy eulogy, everybody.
I imagine Anne is on the corner, like, with some deep metaphor about how fucked up this is, but no one gets it. No one gets it because, you know, they're sheep and being flocked by the herds. angry harpsichord sound.
In the same note but louder.
Right.
Just G, 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 G. In
I
that
do.
case- Oh, go ahead, Val.
Sorry,
go
no,
ahead.
I just need to clarify. So sorry, Mitzi. Are we a
Go ahead.
town? Are we a village? Are we a city? I feel like the shape keeps changing. What are we?
I like the.
Oh, sorry. No, you.
I was
This is
gonna-
your.
I was just gonna say, Mitzi brought up the idea of a village earlier, and I really like that. I like the idea of like a large village, right? Like lorded over, almost like a fiefdom, like lorded over by like a specific family that's like had control over this village for a long time. My world builder brain is like, maybe this place used to be, there used to be an empire or a massive kingdom that all of us would have the tithe to, but like that kingdom has fallen, and now like there's just these individual villages that are their own like city states almost. That's my like thought. I'm like, again, I know I'm like putting a lot in, but like I'm super open to like not doing any of this and like all of your ideas too.
So since we have Happy Eulogy, we also have the lottery. Can I was thinking of something like Medieval Times Cafe, where people can actually feel safe.
Oh, okay. Not like the one in LA where you go watch people joust while you eat turkey legs.
That's what I was thinking.
That could also be a thing.
I'm sorry,
you know?
what?
So in LA, there's a place called Medieval Times, and you go there, and it's like a dinner theater, and you sit and you eat like giant turkey legs while some dudes in medieval costumes joust in front of you.
And whatever section you're in, that's the night you cheer for. So like, there's the
Yeah.
red section, blue section,
Yeah.
green section, whatever.
I'm sorry, unless they're
Interesting.
big buff lesbians in medieval armor jousting, I do not.
There's ladies' night on Thursdays.
Excellent.
It's called Ladies' Night, like spelled with a K, because if not, I will riot.
If there isn't, we start our own medieval times.
But Mitzi, you meant like more like a gathering place.
A gathering place, yes. But also that gathering place may or may not be a place where people exchange ideas that might turn into a revolution. Who knows?
Ooh, secret
salon.
underground.
A salon.
I think Anne
So-
spends a lot of time drinking whatever the equivalent of a lot of coffee is there.
It's tea, but they've forgotten how to brew it from the country they stole it from.
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, I'm enacting violence on every other Asian person in the channel.
Listen, you're right, and you should say it. It's true.
As someone who enjoys coffee and tea, I'm just yeah.
Yeah.
Does our Medieval Times Cafe have like, it's like the front of it is like normal that everyone goes to, but there's like a secret password for like all the hidden revolutionaries in the
Yes.
bottom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You gotta do this as a password.
Yeah, it's the gay wrist.
I love that.
I'm gonna write down Gabriel's password on my post-it note.
Hidden password is the gay wrist. Oops, sorry. Switching out my cord because it is not working over here. All right, so we have. Do you want to name your little gay village?
Oh no.
Or
Oh,
no.
no.
You also can choose not to. No one, the other groups have not named their cities, but y'all have put so much lore into your village. I figured I would ask.
Ooh.
We did. I'm thinking about Gothic names. I feel like
Gothic city name generator.
I could find one. I found one.
That was so fast.
That was so fast. How did you
The
type it that fast?
It's in the bookmarks.
Fantasy name generator is in my bookmarks. It's it's the DM's lament.
True.
Theo, what is this? Theodahad Wittiza.
What's the spelling?
Theodahad is the first one that showed up.
Theodat?
Theodad.
I've no idea. Saurus, which sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings, Sarus. Duda, Duda.
I think for some reason when I heard that I was like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I am not convinced.
So if
I'm
it's Duda, are we called the Doodads?
I am completely against that.
Connie vetoes.
Vetoed. Producer veto slams hammer down.
What about something like Blackened Heights or Airing Heights?
Ooh.
Or like something loft.
So now it's an Emily Bronte novel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Now-
Wuthering
now we're in-
Heights is S tier
Wait,
Bronte
no!
Bronte novel.
I am manifesting the Kate Bush energy we have now instilled into this stream.
I hate it.
I've written now we're in a Bronte novel, so that's how it's going.
Mistakes were made.
That's not a mistake at all.
I don't think so either.
I do like Blackened Heights. It's pretty powerful.
I do like that as well.
It could be
You could have
something less
lore.
like immediately ominous with the heights. Like it could be like Blackbur or like Blackford.
Blackford is a place in the United Kingdom. There's several places called Blackford.
So
Like
it's
the equivalent of
basic.
Springfield. We just made a Springfield. Like
Blackfoot is a place.
Hmm.
My brain supplied
So-
Darkfield, which is not helpful.
Darkfield. Wait, there's something there. There's something there.
Darkfield.
Thoughts on putting the word saint somewhere there?
Saint.
Ooh.
I do want to let you all know because this seems to be the perfect venue in which this information can actually be put forth. There is a wonderful place in Aberdeen, Scotland called Ballydykes. Please do with this information what you will.
Battle dice.
That's so powerful.
I never have the
Ballydykes.
venue to say this.
Can that be the name of the cafe? Battle Dykes?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
As in, like the spelling is Battle Dykes?
battle, like going to battle, and dykes as in our lovely, lovely lesbians dykes? Yes.
Oh,
Just when I thought there was no hope left in the world, Val provides hope.
You've given us the hope that we need. Sorry, I need to write this in my notes.
I'm happy to assist.
name.
I love that. I just love that there's a city called Battle Dykes. That's so powerful.
I think it's a small town or something. It's not super big. I think it used to be.
That
a
means
Roman
that we could
camp.
take it over if need be.
Yes.
Is what you're telling
Oh,
me.
we're still working on a name for this village.
Yeah.
Because when there was a little hook on Darkfields, Blackened Heights makes me think that like something like the village was set on fire a long time ago. So when I'm thinking of field, maybe like Scorched Field or something. That sounds like an interesting.
Scorchfield?
Yeah,
Like this,
Orchfield.
to put it together. Scorchfield.
yeah.
I like
that.
Scorchfield.
Hmm.
I don't know any saints, so I can't help with the saint part of the name.
Saint Scorchfield, duh.
Scorchfield works. It could like one of its monikers could be the Blackened Heights. You know, maybe like we're on a hill or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
On
What
some
if-
moors.
So one of the Saints. How about Saint Scorchfeld? Not really field, but something that would make it sound like, I don't know, like feld instead of field.
Scorchfeld.
Mm.
What if the village is called Scorchfeld and it's named after the saint?
The Saint.
Saint Scorchfeld,
Yeah.
who the people in charge can trace their lineage back to, or so they claim, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But now I need to know what Scorchfeld is the saint of.
Fire.
Or no, which
Yes.
I
Fire
was
and
gonna
renewal.
say, yeah.
Oh my god, does eulogy, do they like burn someone at the stake? Like they burn you alive for eulogy?
Yeah.
In the name of
They
Saint Scorchfeld?
Yeah.
I think they do.
They absolutely do. It's so fucked up. I totally want us to like try to prevent it from happening. Like
Oh yeah.
I'm like
Get
I'm
away.
totally seeing that.
Congratulations, y'all. You've given me my plot for the second half of this stream.
Yes. I also want to
Getaway
clarify.
car.
I feel like a lot of saints get burned at the stake. I want to clarify this saint specifically burned other people. I feel like this saint like killed other people or something.
Okay, so we're not going the martyred saint route then.
I don't know.
No.
Maybe they were. I don't know. Because I'm torn. Because on one hand, I kind of want the saint to be a dick. On the
Because
other hand,
typically that's what most saints are, is like a way to use martyrdom in order to
yes, they were
create staunch faith.
definitely.
I mean, I think it's kind of spicy to have that be the burner, because then we have to talk about what about that action has become revered
Mm.
and respected.
Mm. That's the one camp that I'm really into, and like how that it
Mhm.
becomes perverted. The other idea, the other way of looking at this that I also really like is that Saint Bernard. No, Saint Bernfeld. I'm sorry.
Bork.
When he says Saint Burr, I think Saint Bernard. Saint Burfield. Bernfeld. Bernfeld. Oh my god, we have to change it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep
This
calling him
sounds like
Saint
a
Bernard.
vaudeville act. This
I'm
sounds
gonna
like a
call him-
vaudeville act. Scorchfeld and Burnfeld. Watch them as they do their tap dancing routines.
Saint Elmo's Fire. Okay, Saint Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
My other idea is that he did get burned at the stake, but the meaning has been perverted over time. So the people who are chosen for the eulogy are like kind of like Jesus-fied. They're like, you will die for our sins, like, and it is a great honor,
Yeah.
but it's also terrifying, right?
Yeah.
That's the other idea. That
Quick
I'm
tidbit: Saint Elmo's Fire is actually now like called San Telmo here, because we have this belief that if someone dies through crime or whatever, they become San Telmo, which is basically a ball of fire that follows you, the one who did the crime or is a criminal, and wreaks revenge on them.
That's metal as fuck. I love
I-
that.
This metal is
Yeah.
fuck. I'm into that.
But yeah, that was what I was also gonna say. Like Saint Elmo's Fire could be a good inspiration for this.
is our place called Saint Elmo's then? Or are we keeping Saint Bernard? Sorry. Oh my god. I need
Why?
See, I'm gonna Scorchfeld. After
So it's
Scorchfeld,
different
yes.
from Bernfeld.
okay, Scorchfeld.
So that way you don't have to worry about Saint Bernard's.
Thank you. And the saint's name is Saint Scorchfeld.
Yes.
Okay. Ironic that he was burned at the stake with that name. Or they.
Yep.
I don't know why I keep going with he. I have to interrogate that.
I
Do some
mean,
inner work.
yeah.
Do some Catholic inner work about that.
Yeah, non-binary people should be able to be drawn and quartered in the name of God. It's equality. It's equality.
Not the recovering Catholic sitting over here being like, oh, the inner Catholic.
This is one step beyond the like trans people deserve to be able to die for US imperialism. This is trans and non-binary people deserve to be drawn and
Deserve to be
quartered
martyred. Yeah.
for religious purposes.
I mean, if we get a cool legacy or myth about us, why not? I want a cool myth about me.
What?
Erica, don't say that. A dolphin's gonna kill you if you keep saying that. You're gonna get murdered by the hands of a dolphin.
Probably the next time I'm at an ocean, right in the eye, and I just hemorrhage.
And Echo
doing
laughs.
Active Catholic psychic damage to Quinn.
Yes, we are.
Can I get an A from all the Reformed Catholics in the chat, please?
I have nothing to say about that.
Peace be with you and with your spirit, indeed. Hallelujah.
It got so bad that at some point, like when someone said, "May the force be with you," I also responded, "And also, with you."
Mitzi, you be safe. Same how
So Scorchfeld, Saint Scorchfeld,
Yes.
Thanks,
Yes.
the
Scorchfeld.
eulogy. Okay,
Mhm.
burned to
These
death. Cool.
And are we going with the people being burned are like deified as well, or are we going with the people being burned are being punished for the burning of Saint Scorchfeld?
Ooh.
Sorry, Val is looking at me like I've unveiled an unknown secret.
I mean, something collective punishment over several generations, something, you know?
Yeah, I'm like putting myself in the shoes of the colonizer. I'm like embodying the imperialist, and I'm like, what would be the play here, right? Like if you're in charge and you know that you're in charge of a bunch of people who are really mad at you. Like these people in charge are obviously they're like, they don't know what's happening, but they're also like insidiously smart. Like not smart. I'm not gonna give them that credit. They have power and they wield it like a big old club, right? But if you keep beating someone down, eventually you know they're gonna bite back. So my idea, like my instinct for the eulogy is that it's like a controlled catharsis, kind of like the purge, right? Where like maybe they're like, we let the citizenry have this one day of chaos, one day where they get to burn effigies of us even, and we're like, haha, yeah, doesn't life suck? And then after that, you like let out all your pent out rage, so you go back to work and don't question the system, right? Like that's my gut instinct, right? If they're a bit more
It's like-
conniving.
And
It's like give them a little something that they'll quote unquote enjoy, so that they'd shut up for a few months or so.
yeah. And like if it's like the ceremonial burning and everything, but then also like a day of like party and revelry and like games and things, and like so it's like, look, it's a good thing. Like we're building a celebration for you. And like there's dancing and like games and everything, and then all of the like they're like, good, now we've appeased the lower classes.
Yeah,
The
yeah, and maybe.
derogatory.
And I like the idea of the
Oh,
burning being
yeah.
like a punishment, like kind of like what's it called? Like a scapegoat. Like every year,
Yeah.
and like the entire year you play, I don't want to be the scapegoat. Cause like maybe it's even a vote or something fucked up. So you do it to
Yeah.
each other, right? Like,
Yeah.
and like you pick the
Yeah.
one person to blame for all of your problems and you burn them at the stake, right?
Yeah, and I do love this because then we can link this back to the family that kind of is ruling over this area, because what if they're not actually related to Scorchfeld, but actually related to those who did that to Scorchfeld, but have now usurped the narrative, which is what most colonizers and imperialists do.
I'm into that.
Mhm.
I'm into that. The
I'm into
Scorchfelds.
it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love that. All right. If that is does anyone have anything else they would like to add to our mundane before we shift to rolling for our mirror realm?
Can
That was
I
so mundane.
want to
Yeah.
ask one tiny thing?
Of course.
I would like there to be, I was thinking of having a traditional dance that the village has.
Hell yeah.
The traditional dance, the choreography of it is something that resembles fire. But if someone really read between the lines, especially with the history books and everything, it represents the rage of the people and fighting for their space, for their homes, something like that.
Yes.
I'm so into that. That is so sexy.
I love that so
Yeah.
much.
Yes,
Revolutionary
that's
dance
the wrong
is very
side.
good.
Yes.
What does a white card mean, Val? What would a white card mean in play?
A white
Unflavored.
card is Val's brain has short circuited and is
short circuit.
thoroughly pleased.
I see.
This is good. I want to run a campaign. Like I want to run a campaign of multiple systems in Scorchfeld.
Please feel free to take Scorchfeld and use it however you want, Connie. You can use it however you please.
Transplaner one shot? Visit Scorchfeld? We'll see.
Ooh.
All of our characters are the hot NPCs. I'm into it.
I want to hear everyone's bad British accents in Scorchfeld.
Please, I want
Well, okay,
dibs
Val's
on the
will be
king
fine.
so hard. I want dibs on the king's voice so hard. I want to play this dude. I want to be him so bad.
I will stop my facilitation mid-session to let Connie voice the king because I don't want to take that from them. Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry. What's up, Mitzi?
Oh no, go ahead.
If there's nothing else anyone would like to add to the mundane, we have some tables to roll on for the mirror realm.
Woohoo!
I will also read the flavor text that also Quinn wrote. Quinn writes really good flavor text, and I want to highlight it. The mirror realm is your block's sanctum, sacred, safe, impenetrable, mostly at least. Go around the table together and build your ideal world. Use your collective imaginations or the provided tables. So you can choose to roll on these tables to make things, or you can add whatever you want as well. So you're not limited by the tables. You are also like free to interpret these tables in whatever way you want, because they're intentionally vague. So the first one is tempo, which is like the speed and vibe of the world. So who would like to roll a d4 for me and determine the tempo? Or if you don't want to roll a d4, just pick a tempo.
I'll roll for tempo. I got 1 for flowing.
Flowing. Okay. Do you want to describe for me what flowing feels like to you, Erica?
I think it's just flowing is sort of, I get just this vibe of, instead of feeling like people are crowded and stuck where they are, it's just people are able to just come and go easy breezy, and like doors aren't closed and locked necessarily. You can enter where you please and exit where you please, and just a sense of everything is easy to get around. Like, there's not steps that some people can't get up, there's not things blocking people.
Perfect. Structure of the space.
I could roll for that. Also because I like to roll. So
Yay, rolling dice.
it's very fun for me. I rolled a 3, blooming.
3 is blooming. So what does that mean to you?
I think that kind of means having space to grow and to flourish, not survive, but also thrive. And I also mean that in a visual sense. There's like this space, this sanctum is filled with beautiful flowers, plants, like herbs that heal and treat and help folks live and thrive and flourish. I think that's kind of what it means to me.
I love that. It's green.
It's green and it's got lots of cute flowers because the gays love flowers and floral patterns.
We sure do love floral patterns. I went to check if I was wearing a floral shirt today, and I'm not.
I did
failed.
yesterday, so
Yeah.
I was also wearing one yesterday. These have fruits on it, yeah?
Yes, this is like a fruity. It's a fruity shirt. Yeah, I have a ton of these. Yeah, just all over my house.
I love that. All right. Who would like to roll for the next table, which is volume?
Connie, you want to take it?
Yeah, I'll take it. Lego. 4. I had a feeling it was going to be 4. Sharp.
Sharp. What does that feel like to you?
I think that out of the places where structures are blooming and in between the spaces where people flow, there will be spikes of erratic magical energy that just sort of shoot up full of infinite possibilities. And I think they maybe manifest as like loud sparks of light, like pillars of just like radiance jetting upward, and like almost like rainbows. Like it spits rainbows, right? But like in between like the like little like lines between the colors, we see like infinite realms leading to like infinite alternate realities and possibilities and futurities. And it's just like I think it's part of me. Sharp means it's unstoppable and uncontrollable. And part of the beauty of this space is the chaos magic that just comes out.
Love that so much. I just love that it spits rainbows.
Oh yeah.
So then last but not least, Mitzi, do you want to roll where the portal to the mundane is, rather to the mirror realm is?
Sure, I shall roll with my rainbow dice. That's a 1.
A one
back
is
room.
back room, which I think is fitting
Yes.
because you have your secret hideaway back room
Battle
at
Dykes.
at Battle
Yes.
Dykes.
Yeah.
Yeah, battle dykes.
And one person can roll, or you all can decide collectively what shape does your portal take. And you can grab from the list, or if anyone has an idea of what they want, what form they want their portal to take.
I think a door would make the most sense if it's like, oh, this is the back room, right? Like quote, quote. But I'm also kind of enamored by the idea of a crack, like a crack in the wall that you have to like know to look for or something.
I like the idea of a crack in the wall.
I also like the crack. I'm attracted to something where it's like there's no way you see, but as you get your eye closer to it, suddenly you're like, whoosh, all of a sudden you're in it. You're through it.
Hey,
Yeah.
you guys want to go to Battle Dykes and touch the crack?
I swore off the crack a long time ago.
I was thinking like,
Sorry.
Yeah, I think the crack would be also nice in a metaphorical sense. Because yeah.
I also like it because it's very much like if someone were to break into Battle Dykes who is not part of your collective, they wouldn't know to look for that particular crack in the wall. It would look the same to them as everyone else. So
yes,
it's more secure.
I also love the idea of like you don't get through the crack by forcing your way through. You have to sort of like touch it, like, and then it pulls you through. So I like the idea of people who are like not our enemy, like if like it comes down to confrontation, they bring like sledgehammers and they try to like break down the crack like through force and violence.
You gotta do the gay wrist on it to open it.
Oh my god, our secret code.
Yeah.
You make the gay wrist at the crack on the wall and it opens. We have one last question in the world building portion, which we've kind of already answered in the who your enemy is. There are 4 answers here, but how do we want to describe our enemy in terms of this world that we've built? The available ones are champions of tradition in quotation marks, the system, bootlickers, and old friends also in quotation marks. But you can also chuck those aside and have it just be like this noble family or their structure, whatever we want it to be.
I keep flip-flopping between the family or the system, because it's like if it wasn't for the family, the system would have been like this. But if the system hadn't been like this, blah blah blah. But then now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, maybe the family, because they are the ones who are implementing the system and are
I like
aware
that.
of it.
Yeah. The family feels very much to me like the tangible enemy, but even if we kill them all or if we run them all out of town, the ideology, right, that they were enacting still exists. Like the work won't be done even after they're gone.
You have to build a new system to replace the one that you're getting rid of, or else nothing
Exactly.
changes.
Exactly. So the family's the immediate threat, right? But like the greater The bigger bad is the system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna write down family, immediate threat, system, big bad.
System, big bad. The BBEG of Brick is the system. That's just true.
Mhm.
That is just the truth of every session of this game. With our world and characters built, does anyone have anything else they'd like to do in this world building stage before we go to break?
Nothing so far.
And of course, you're also welcome to add details to the world as we play. Like, I'm not going to stop you, but just so that we have everything ready. Otherwise, we're going to go to a brief 10-minute break, whatever Transplanter's standard is. Connie.
Yes, 10 minutes. Yes. So thank you so much for leading us through character generation and world creation, Rue. I'm so excited to hop into the game and play something. Excited to see these leather horses in action. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Enjoy the waiting room music. It's a brand new playlist. It's nice. There's guitars in it. Give it a listen. We love y'all so much. Thank you so much for getting us to 269.69. Can we crush 420? By the time this is over, that's what I'm putting out there. Let's crush 420. Tell all your friends about us. We'll be back. Game's gonna start soon. See you in 10. Sheesh. Hello, everybody. It is so good to see all of your digital non-existent faces in the chat yet again. Welcome back. I'm just going to hand things right on over to Rue, our facilitator, and let him kick things off.
Hello, we're going to get into the gameplay phase where everyone gets to actually play the characters in the world that we've built. I'd like to remind everyone of some new content warnings. We are in a gothic town that features a festival that involves the immolation of a person. So if any of those things are triggering to you, please take a step back and give yourself some space as we explore the kind of spooky world that we've all built over here. Speaking of exploring that world, it's the day before eulogy. What are all of you doing to prep for the festival tomorrow?
Anne is in her own little corner of the town square, practicing her piece. She's like sitting by her harpsichord and practicing that G note as much as possible. And I literally did write a poem during the break. So should I do it now, or should that be like a treat for the end of it?
That's up to you if you want to do it now or if you want to save it for like part of our revolutionary moment, whatever you want to do.
Here's what we'll do. I'll do this. This is like this is performance number 1. This is rough draft, and maybe I'll get another draft by the end. So here we go. So this is Anne. She is a bit of a androgynous, thicker lady. Also uses they, them. I would say wears like a lot of just plain underclothing, sort of raggy, but also has a very asymmetrical leather armor situation going on. Like a bracer on one arm, the other arm has a shoulder pad, one leg is covered in leather armor, the other is not, so on and so forth like that. So she's like huddled over that piano with her papers and scrolls, and the looks like could be a notebook strung together. And she just like, the rage, dink, crinkled noses, dink, flesh like sinners bathed in spray, blood on hand, time of the sun, dink, dink, dink. Setting like explosive Icarus fight, dink, 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 dink. Don't be a sheep, don't be sheep. Ba, wool spun to a sweater of oppression, dink, dink, dink. Crack the system, let the eulogy engulf our king. Saint Scorchfield meet the crown, burn, dink, as loud as she can do it. And thus ends the reading.
You're doing this in the town square, yeah?
Yes.
I feel like everyone sort of is rushing around trying to get their things prepped, and like will occasionally like hear the loud dinging of your harpsichord, stop, listen to like 3 words, and then get like shocked and continue on. Like surprised by your subject matter. Very like, ooh, very racy poem to be performing on eulogy.
Indeed. Yeah, this is definitely like an act of defiance for sure.
Yeah.
If I may, I think I know how to introduce my character as you're pinging on your harpsichord. In the town square, striding up to you is a shadow that just poof, like falls over your form. A massive woman, I think muscle bound, dressed, I think, in leather armor with like a single steel pauldron like on one shoulder. And I think, 2 long swords strapped to either hip. She has, I think, perhaps like a winter, like a half cape on like the other shoulder that just sort of is like sliced diagonally. So it hangs like kind of like off like one shoulder and like down to the next. And the back of the half cape has the emblem of Lord Scorchfeld on it to show whom she serves. And Stag sort of swaggers up to you, Anna. Her face is just a tessellation of scars, just like all like it looks like a massive grizzly maybe like clawed its way down the left side of her face, like down her throat, and disappears, I think, into her armor. I think she's got a half plate on as well. And her eyes are these like kind of pale, almost like washed out silver. And she's got this like kind of smirk on her very sharp, almost gaunt, jagged features, right? Very like ruggedly handsome. And her hair, I think, is this charcoal black, short bangs on top, like, and I think but like a high, let's say a short ponytail up top, shaved on the sides. She sort of like looks Anna up and down, like one hand on the hilt of her longsword, and says kind of loudly so everyone can hear, Lord Scorchfeld would like to commend you on your satire and likes to remind you to not bite the hand that feeds. And she's sort of like, I think, leaning her weight from one leg to another and like looking at you with kind of like a glimmer in her eyes to know that like this is kind of like a front she has to put on so Lord Scorchfeld doesn't get suspicious of her.
I think Anne sees that and responds in kind, also putting up a front of just ba ba. Do you hear this? Do you hear this, community? Ba ba. And then also like there's that little twinkle back too.
Careful. You're lucky it's eulogy. Just a slap on the wrist for you. And I think holds out a hand to like indicate a fine, right? And like I think gestures at the tips that you've collected.
I think Anne looks at the jar and says, loud enough, once again, the tools in the shed have no meaning here except to take more. What is their score? And like makes a big show of like putting it out. Like there's just like a few coin pieces. He's like, if you really want, you're going, and like holds out, just go ahead and take.
Count yourself fortunate, clown, that it's coins and not your tongue this time around. And she palms the coins, I think, in turns. But on her way turning out, she slips the coins back into your pocket.
Yeah, I think this is a well-rehearsed dance that they've like. Anne even has her back to Stag, right?
Stag, yeah.
And then like her hand like cups into a palm, and there's this exchange. Their backs touching each other, and Anne just goes back to her harpsichord and is taking notes, scribbling out words, thinking of new words, so on and so forth.
I think the way Farhan kind of enters is because it is a festival, it means tourists abound, which means there's use for his carriages, and he is not necessarily pleased about that. So, arriving onto the town square, you all hear the loud gallops begin to slow to a halt of 4 horses galloping in towards the town with a black carriage, and seated at the front is a chubby, tall man with dark brown skin and this kind of mess of curly hair on his head, and he wears this long robe, black, that is segmented off with various loops of belts, black leather belts, and kind of like leather pauldrons that kind of section off each bit. You see like he wears these black gloves where he holds the reins for these horses, and the horses screech to a halt, and he finally hops off, and you see that he wears these black boots and very skinny black trousers, and hops to allow the tourists to exit, and they kind of gush and look about and are taking in the sights as tourists do, and he responds quickly, acervically, as, all right, you've had a fucking look, all right, go on, get. And then they shuffle off, and he kind of closes the doors to his carriage and goes back to the front where his horses are, right at the front where Voyager and Jester are, and just pat their noses and brings his face close to them and goes, it's all right, I know they were quite loud, it's all right. And kind of like notices that his companions are around and will slowly begin to like lead the horses towards a side off area so that they can just sit and relax by some large I've troughs, I believe they're called, of water and food. And just leans against his carriage, arms crossed, to kind of disgruntledly looking at the cheer and delight for this festival.
I think around that time, Casting would have arrived as well. They usually have a white tunic, somehow browned over the years, but on this day they're wearing a dark shade of gray as a tunic and trousers, working trousers. And okay, I've been thinking about this like earlier. But what do you call those bands that you put on your pants so they don't fall down?
Belts? Suspenders?
Garters?
Suspenders, thank you. So medieval version of suspenders, they're wearing that as well. They're of average height, maybe like 5'4", 5'3", something like that. They have like a bag with them. It's like a knapsack of sorts, where they put their produce that they would be bringing to the cafe. And then at Battle Dykes, so they're what on their way, but they did hear the exchange between Stag and Anne. So they stopped for a bit and then just observed the whole thing. And you can see that their eyes are a piercing violet. Like it's deep, and whenever the sun shines on it, it kind of turns into green. And they have long curly hair, like it goes up to their waist. And on their tanned skin, you can see on their left cheek, they have a burn scar on it. And you can see that their hands are calloused from years of hard work. And as soon as the exchange is over and they see Farhan looking at them, having noticed everyone, they just quietly nod and continue to their destination, which is the cafe.
Rue, I think you are muted.
I am, yeah. The town itself is obviously very busy, as Farhan has shown, bringing everyone in from the surrounding area, tourists, people who don't necessarily live in Scorchfeld are here for eulogy, as well as everyone in the neighboring fields and towns and things. And the cafe is, however, less busy than usual in the main section of the cafe, because most of the folks who would normally hang out in the open room area of this place are setting up the booths or cooking or prepping their art for eulogy. So it is less busy in here than it normally is. And you are all sort of going about your evening business when some of Stag's colleagues, some fellow Kingsguard, come down the main road carrying a large wooden box. And they take this box up to about right next to Anne, where your stage is, in the center of Town Square. And one of them slams his spear, the butt of the spear, against the ground to get everyone's attention in the Town Square, and says, "Remember, everyone, to place your ballots before sunrise tomorrow so we can choose the noble sacrifice for the sins of the year. All votes will be counted at sunrise. If your vote isn't in by then, your voice will not be heard." And you watch as they set the box down and make sure it's like securely latched, and then return back to the guard post. And there are some people in town who like already have their like ballots written and are running to put them in this box. Like they have decided who they're scapegoating. They saw Goody Proctor with the devil.
I think Stag, this is happening as Stag walks away from Anna.
Yes.
She like cuts a curt nod to the guard that had put the box up and sort of shoulders her way broadly into Battle Dykes, I think. And I think like as she does, like she's like quite imposing, like she has to like duck to get past the doorway, but she goes straight, like she just cuts through like the sparse patrons in here, goes round the back, and is heading right toward that crack in the back to meet with her allies.
Yeah. You're the I will let it be different for everyone how it like feels to go into the mirror realm, but how does it feel for Stag? Like what is Stag's experience entering the mirror realm?
It's like a pull toward home. It feels like, you know, when she puts her hand on that crack splintered through the brick, she can see like herself begin to like fade and get sucked into that alternate reality, that like different world that doesn't exist here. And it's almost like she's returning somewhere familiar, even though she swears she's like the first time she was there, she like freaked the fuck out, right? Like, but now it's like she's used to it. But even the first time, it was weirdly like it rang a bell, like a long forgotten memory. So it's almost like being wrapped up in a mother's embrace that she's long forgotten, which is odd to her because I don't think she has. I think her like mom died when she was really young or something like that, right? So she like, it's like an odd homecoming for her.
Yeah.
I think Kasing would be the next one to go in. You know how you would put your hand on the ground when you're trying to plant something or you're going to like dig through something? They do just that towards the crack, and the feeling that they have as they're being pulled into the mirror realm is as if they're a plant that's coming out from the ground, seeking nourishment, seeking the light, and it feels warm and cold, but not uncomfortably so. And it feels as if the weight of the mundane is being shed off the more that they go inside.
I think Farhan, after kind of like watching the whole thing, also makes his way over, and his boots kind of like less subtle than literally everyone else, literally stomps his way over to the crack, in his big leather boots, and his hands balled into fists, squeezing against his leather gloves as they make that kind of thick leather sound. And when he enters through this portal, I think it feels like when he is allowed to let loose on his carriage or with his horses and just ride the wind whipping through his hair, his face, and that pure feeling of unadulterated freedom. And that is how he feels as he steps in.
I think as Anne is making her way towards Battle Dykes, still giving off some lip to these, these guards with the ballot boxes and telling everyone that their votes, like they matter, you should do it, but there's other ways to rip apart the state, and we should think about it. And finally makes her way into Battle Dykes and walks towards the crack, making sure to give the sign to go inside. And it's almost like holding your breath and diving into a hot spring or like a warm pool, if we were in modern terms, and it's like the sound of like a smooth jazz saxophone on like a rainy Portland night. That's the vibe for Anne in there. It's just like a feeling that you just hold your breath to hold on to for a little bit longer before you get to the other side.
The ideal world for Anne involves jazz, something that won't be invented for 100 years.
Ahead of her time, ahead of her time.
Yeah, so all of you meet in the mirror realm, surrounded by these beautiful rolling hills of flowers and these sparks and spikes of magic that coalesce and then disperse in quick succession, and sort of feeling that like power course through you as they appear. And all of you are safe in your meeting place.
I think Cussing would speak first as soon as everyone is there. Well, they really worked quick this time. I just came from the mounds, meaning where people were buried. Just came from the mounds, and they finally have, no, not finally. They already have one dug up in preparation.
The
Farhan is
lordship
just
is the lordship is nothing if not always prepared for death.
Farhan is tapping his foot impatiently and angrily. And are we by any account to just stand around and just let it happen?
Obviously not. But if you keep tapping your foot like that, woodpecker, I might have to cut it off. It's annoying.
Hey, this we don't need to bring that energy into here. This let's do we've been saying this year after year, festival after festival, every eulogy. We've got to do something. So what are we gonna do this time? What are we gonna do differently? What kind of action are we taking?
I'm starting to think that last year's suggestion of using my garden's devil lettuce is starting to sound very appealing, but I don't think it's a good idea still.
Yeah, I think a bunch of mad people who are high are still going to be mad. They're still going to want their pound of flesh.
They'll just be hungry about it.
Maybe we'll cannibalize each other and this whole nightmare will end. Maybe we'll just burn down the mundane world and live here forever.
That does sound like a nice option.
But we'd be leaving
But
too many
can
people
we?
behind.
I've spoken to a few people here. They are starting to wake up to what is actually happening. They've began talking. They've began expressing their discomfort and their discontent. There might be something we could do with that.
What if Lord Scorchfeld wins the lottery?
I was going to suggest burning the entire box, but I think I like that plan better.
I mean, the votes are going in now, so if we're gonna do something, it's gonna have to be fast. But if we're going to convince people or get the ballots to come out with that outcome,
I can talk to the other guards. If chaos breaks and Lord Scorchfeld tries to walk back tradition, if his name comes up, the people he'll be counting on to enforce that will be us. So I'll talk to them.
I can get folks wherever they need to go. You all tell me where you need, and I'll take you there.
People are coming by the garden around this time anyway, so I can definitely talk to them as well.
I could definitely talk to my friends, all the musicians who will be there, and all the circus performers, the fire spitter, the especially the fire spitter. If we can get him on our side, ooh, that will be something. The person who swallows sword blades, I might be able to convince at least half of them, if not more.
Right.
I don't think us doing all of this is going to be enough. We're going to have to talk to other people so that they will talk to other people.
All right. Well, we don't have any time to waste. It's only hours until the drawing.
Good thing I'm the fastest carriage driver in this side of Scorchfield.
Well, then you better spread the news.
Sorry, I just heard my roommate yell at us.
We've got your roommate on board. We've got your
He's
roommate.
with us. He's on our side.
You see Farhan kind of just like, all right, and then just like already just waiting to see what everyone else says before heading off.
Cassie just smiles at everyone and says, "Okay, let's remember to keep hope alive for everyone."
You got it.
And all of you are heading out to sort of convince your respective circles, yeah?
Yep.
I think Stag is probably one of like the most beloved of the Crown's Guard, like of the King's Guard, both like by the family, but also by her like cohort. Like they all they're very respected by the other guard. So everyone sort of is like when you walk into a room full of bros and they all like go, yeah, that kind of feeling, but it's 1852.
Maybe Stag goes to where the King's Guard would be carousing on Eulogy. I'm thinking maybe like a little tavern hall by where the Lord's castle would be. Right.
Sort of the closest tavern to the castle, yeah.
Yes. Should I come up with names for these people, or will you? Because I'm so bad at names. I what do I call them?
I can name them as we come to them. I'll just
Fantastic.
get myself I'm gonna pull a Val and have the fantasy name generator at my disposal. But yeah, so there's probably like 15 to 20 dudes and non-binary folks and ladies just all hanging around. Dudes, gender ambiguous.
Yes. Dudes, gender neutral. Got it. Yeah.
Like,
hey! How we doing?
And like immediately, like 3 people at different tables are all like slamming their hands down on the benches next to them for you to come sit by them.
Yeah, I like sort of like wave. I'm like talking. I'm like naming people like Jonesy, Foxman. Like they've all got like weird nicknames. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, hey, Pike. Yeah, you filling up for tonight? Yeah, nice to take a night off.
You know it.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen. Everyone, come on. Let's scooch these tables together. What are we? We're not. Come on. And I'm like trying to like get everyone to just sort of squanch together.
Everyone squishes their tables like together into one large, massive table with like 25 chairs around it.
Mm-hmm. Listen. It's been a hard year, hasn't it? Lots of deaths, famine. Yeah.
It's been harder than usual, I would argue.
Good. Yeah, that's right. Fox, man, it has been harder than usual. You know, those locusts, our crops, it's been difficult.
Yeah, the only place you can get any vegetables around here is that garden.
Yeah, and I hear they grow more than vegetables, you know what I mean? We gotta keep our eyes out for that.
Yeah.
But, listen, it's eulogy. I know we're not supposed to talk about this, but come on, we all know each other. It's hours till the drawing. What are we thinking, fellas? Who's Gotta go kaput.
And like there's like a moment of like definite like taboo, like, oh, we're talking about something we're not supposed to. And like all of the guards like looking amidst themselves. Can you roll compassion for me?
Yes, I can. That's 2d4 for me.
And then
That's a
pick
3.
the higher. Oh, a 3.
I got 2 3s.
All right. So a 3 is a partial success. Which, what is the wording on that? You get what you want, but things get complicated. So I think if you're okay with it, the complication that I'm going to put here is that there's like some level of like some of the like more, for lack of a better term, old guard members are like a little bit concerned about you bringing this up, and you can tell from their expressions that like they're like, this is a little bit out of line. But the younger guard who are all like, you sort of like start like, not necessarily like who they voted for, but like, oh well, I heard, and don't take it from me, but you know the cobbler down in the town square. I heard he's been stealing from the coffers, so I was gonna put his name in the list.
That's a good candidate.
And someone else is like, when I went to go do tax collecting last week, Mrs. Anderson said she hadn't sold any pies, and I couldn't believe that because I ate one of her pies. So I think if anyone's contributing to the plagues that we're having, it might be her.
Well, you know what I heard? The cobbler stealing from the coffers. Well, I heard that it was actually Lord Bernfeld who put a high tax on leathers being imported for the shoes they were trying to make. So, well, we all know what happened with the cobbler's son, and perhaps they were stealing from the coffers because they had no other option. Know what I mean? That's what I heard, at least. Rumor has it.
And like, oh, sorry, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna go on to like make another justification for the pie maker. And the pie maker, those delicious cherry pies. It was a cherry pie you're trying to get, right? She's so good at the cherry pies, right? If there's some sort of secret ingredient. Yeah. I hear cherries are getting harder and harder to come by because, well, Lord Bernfeld doesn't think bees thinks bees are an eyesore. Remember the burning we had to do this past summer? Killed all the hives. Well, no bees to pollinate, no cherry pies.
I got stung so many times when we were burning those bees.
Yeah, and Jameson died, allergic reaction.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Jameson.
Everyone does like that.
Yeah, we did like one of the pro. Yeah.
Yeah. And like this like kind of hushed quiet comes over the group, and again you see the the old guard folks have like stepped away, but the like people who you work with more often are like quiet, and one of them speaks up and says, I think my sister's a textiles worker, and you're right, the taxes have been very, very rough this year. I don't know if she'll be able to get presents for the kids.
Yeah, well, if the taxes keep going this way, even after eulogy, I think presents for the kids are going to be the least of our concerns. We're living hand to mouth as it is.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like, I don't know what I don't know enough about taxes to know what the money is going to, but...
Well, I'm very close to our Lord. I've seen what the money goes to. And I think she leans in like she's going to tell a story, like trying to get everyone else to lean in, like listen and enraptured as well. A brand new golden bridle for his horses. Gold embroidered cape. I know he already has 7 others, but he really wanted to embroider the gold on his cape. New jewels for his crown. When he was gone for a week last autumn, it wasn't to lay his uncle to rest. It was for him and his the queen to get away to the country for a week. All of our tax money paid for that nice little excursion.
And like, as you speak, you see the like revelation coming onto their faces. There's like a couple of them who have like accompanied them on these excursions for like visiting dying relatives, like remember that they were always kept outside and not allowed to attend because it was actually like a party happening inside. And you watch the like revelation come across all of their faces, and like one of them very quietly whispers, are you saying that the Lord is causing the plagues?
Yes, the Lord's mismanagement of everything happening here, I think, is causing the plague. Listen, we do his dirty work. We cut the throats. We kill the bees. We take people's money from them. We grab their property and we give it up to our Lord. But I think I'm done wetting my hands with other people's blood for a bounty I'll never get to see myself. What do y'all say to putting down a different name on the ballot tonight, lads?
And like, it's the quietest hear you've ever heard from this table, but you do get a hear and like jumping on the tables. Val, why don't you tell me about Farhan riding far and wide to meet as many folks as he can?
If you will let me,
I will.
I have something extremely unhinged for you.
I'm ready.
All right. I want Farhan to ride off to the area of like the stable hands, the carriage workers, the folks who tend to the horses, just because they were numerous during this period of time. And often, like, there are other extraneous works that led to these are simple farm folk. And I think his approach, in stark contrast to Stag, is to ride around this area, this kind of like living situation, farm, stable, barn area, and just as he is driving the carriage, standing upwards, leaning against the shaft and the of all of the carriage like bits of stick where you have to segment the 4 different horses, and he's like leaning forward and just is yelling, "Are you tired of this? The injustice, the pain, the burning of the bees. I say we have a new name tonight, lads. I say we set up a new pig for the roast. I say we set another one ablaze. Let's fucking go."
And like, I want you to roll rage for me, and I also want you to take +1 for referencing Stag's burning of the bees in your running.
Yes.
So roll
Lads,
3,
lads.
And then take your highest. As
All
like
right.
the other farmers and carriage workers come out of their homes and like with their lamps and torches, like listening to you ride and yell.
I rolled, so I just take my highest.
Yes.
4.
Oh, that is an absolute success. So on top of getting, like, you get these people so riled up, they are yelling, they are lighting torches, they are grabbing their pitchforks, they're ready to go. And you get to do something, like, you get to go even beyond what your original goal is. So tell me something extra that you'd like to add to this.
I'm doing the drama. I'm here for the drama. We're doing the drama. As everyone is gathering in riotous applause and cheers in agreement, Farhan like leans over from his carriage drive, grabs a torch, and sets his horses to ride faster as he chaperones this group of people about to cast their votes and waves this torch up in the air and rides forward.
Beautiful. I love that. And you've just got people on horseback, people running, just like a mass of the people of the carriage workers and the farm workers and the working class just following after your carriage, hooting and hollering through the streets. Mitzi or Erica, who would like to talk to your communities next?
Erica, do you want to go first?
Sure. So Anne is going to go to just outside the town is like where all the entertainers and performers are. They're not allowed to stay in the town. Why would that be? So she approaches some of the tents, and there's like, there's Stockings the juggler, who is like the clearest case of like, I don't know what's going on here, but I love it. There's Merle the wizard, who is clearly a time traveler from the 21st century who got stuck in this time zone. There's Kant the fire breather, who's the intellectual of the group, philosopher, if you will. There's Marion the strong woman, who I suspect in underground arm wrestling rings probably has fought Stag a few times. They probably have a healthy rivalry, perhaps, if Stag will allow me such. And then there's Fitz the lute player, who's like banging on something that like someday this could be the birth of heavy metal, but like knows how to play soft stuff too. And I think Anne is just gonna go, and they're gonna notice. Anne's gonna be, friends. Fitz, could you please give me some green sleeves in G minor, please? And Fitz automatically just like blow, 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 but like lute style. And Anne begins, friends, we all know that Lord Scorchfeld takes 75% of all of our earnings, the entertainment tax, if you will, completely unhinged. It is time this year that we finally stand up for what we believe in, where we, the ones who bring joy every single day to those near and far with our tricks and trades, when our beguiling ways, we are going to put Lord Scorchfeld in his place. All I need from you is but one vote apiece, and if you're so willing, perhaps a little more, convincing others to follow our plight. We, this year, are taking back what is so rightfully ours.
Can you roll pride for me?
Yes, I can. That is... I rolled a 4.
Hell yeah. You sort of like come in, and like these are your friends, these are your fellow circus performers, they love you. And like you come in, and it is a family feeling to be a part of the circus, because you're all being oppressed by the system in a multitude of ways. And like immediately we start talking about the entertainment tax, there's just like applause and outroar. And you also, with a 4, get to do something beyond. So what would you like to do beyond just your original goal of getting them fired up and then having them fire up the other folks that they know?
I think as Anne is speaking, people are getting so into it that I think Kant is grabbing like a little box and like banging it, doing a bass drum. Merle the wizard has like, I don't remember what the instrument's called, but it's like the precursor to trumpet, where you can only do open notes, and is just wailing away on like screeching high notes as needed at the right moments. And I think they get like a full metal band going, made of these medieval instruments, and they're so into it that they travel over to the competing rival circus on the other side of town and convince all them to join their plight and add to the metal music.
You've got like the plate spinners who are like purposely clanging their plates together to make the like,
oh yeah, they're the
extra
hi-hats.
sound.
Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding,
the
ding,
hi-hats.
Yep.
Yeah, you're creating a cacophony in the town square.
Some probably Stockings has figured out how to clap on the offbeat, so we get that like 2 and 4 beat going.
Yeah. And last but not least, Mitzi, how are you? How is Cushing getting folks together at the community garden?
Cussing doesn't have the same like fire, haha, pun, as their companions do. They simply went to the garden, started to get to work, And the first thing they say among their peers, so who are you voting for in the eulogy?
And the I feel like the people who work with you in the garden are all kind of like generally fairly soft spoken. Like they have their passions, but they're not as loud and vibrant about them maybe as the circus folks are. And one of the folks who is like in the middle of like turning soil for a new harvest like looks over and says, well, I don't usually vote. I can't bring myself to put anything on one person. I don't want anyone else to suffer. I usually don't vote.
I see. If it's anything of importance to anyone, I would just like to say that I'm voting for Scorchfield.
And there's like a moment of like stunned silence, and you see a couple of folks like sort of think, and you see them realize that it's never crossed their mind that they could vote for him. And so they're quiet and they're listening, but like haven't really come to fruition yet.
You see, everyone, I am tired. I am exhausted. Every year I go to the mounds and I see a new one dug up, closed, and the next year, and the next, and the next. We have been doomed by Lord Scorchfeld and his kin. Look at what they've done to our field, where the bees were helping us produce what we could feed this village. They have doomed us with this plague, they say. This is not a plague. This is something born out of their greed, out of their selfishness, out of sheer disregard for our lives. I understand that you don't want to cause any pain. You don't want to inflict violence. But how come Lord Scorchfeld and his minions are allowed to inflict violence upon us, but when we do it, it is unjustified? Don't you think that's a little askew in logic? We deserve a decent space. We deserve decent living. And how come they are the only ones enjoying plentiful food and housing?
That was an extremely powerful speech. Can you roll compassion and pride for me?
So 3 dice?
Yeah,
Okay.
if that's what you have in compassion and pride. Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
Oh, what?
Oh no! Oh.
Can I
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can I use my ability?
Yeah.
Which
You want to
is
ride in?
I roll pride to take the fall for someone else. So
Yeah.
if I may, I feel like maybe there are guards who hear this or something, like
Overhear it.
yeah, or something like that, like in the garden center, in like in the garden area, and I'll let you. I mean, I just kind of want to intercept here. I don't want our lovely gardener to take the ball.
Yeah, it is your ability, so please feel free to do that.
So I think as you see guards that were maybe like pacing along the perimeter here, like start to turn and like hear what you're saying and like maybe start to go, like, because what you're saying is like dissent. It is like, it's mutiny. And like you could be killed for this, like on the spot, right? So like I think maybe they start to advance upon you, but like just sort of like barging into like the garden area. You see Stag sort of running, like maybe like with like one hand like on the hilt of one of her long swords, right? But like not drawing it yet, and she's just going, hold on, peace, my friends. What's happening here is just a big misunderstanding. And she's like looking between the guards and her friend.
And I think the guards who also have their hands like on their swords are like, what do you mean a misunderstanding? That's mutiny.
Kasing here, of course, is speaking in metaphor. Isn't that right, Kasing?
Casting doesn't say anything or do anything.
Yes, Kasing is speaking metaphorically, of course, and doesn't mean any of this literally. You see, Kasing grew plants to feed my family when we had none, so if the two of you could just look the other way, I'd appreciate that.
Of course, Stag. We can. It's eulogy. We can let this one pass.
Thank you. And I'd be more than happy to roll pride to see how successful I am. Based on this.
Yeah, please do.
Achoo!
A 2? Okay. I think with a 2, you get the guards off of Kashing, but the other folks in the garden are still too frightened of the prospect necessarily to cast their votes in that way. But you have stopped the brutal arrest of the people in the garden. But yeah, so I think like the people in the garden have listened to you and understand where you're coming from. They're just scared is where they are.
Can casting say one more thing
yeah,
to them
please do.
that doesn't necessarily need a role, I think.
Yeah.
Casting just looks to them and says, I understand that you're scared. I am too. But I have learned the hard way that if we do not do everything in our power to keep each other safe, we too will burn. And then Kasing just kind of like instinctively touches the scar on their face.
And there's like a very like somber silence and like nodding amidst the folks that you were talking to. Like solidarity and understanding. In the expediency of time, I'd like to skip to morning for the counting of the ballots. Connie, would you like to reprise your favorite role?
Oh, yes, thank you for letting me have this room. Yes, okay, oh my god. Lord Scorchfeld, I think, is up on this platform. Like, I think everyone's there because this is like the event, like no one wants to miss this. Like, he's up there in his like brand new gold trimmed cape with his like new jewels on his crown, right? I think he's a very hungry looking, like kind of gaunt man. Right? Like, I think he's like very thin and he's got this like stubble around his face, almost kind of like a skeleton, and like his eyes are really intense. There's always spittle on his lip, right? He's like looking around as he gets up, and Stag is right next to him, right? As workers are like counting the ballots, and while the ballots are being counted, he delivers a speech like he always does every year. Gratitude. That's right. Gratitude is the theme of eulogy. Ah, you ungrateful peasants, live sucking on the tit of your lord. The tit. Don't suckle me dry. Gratitude! Gratitude is all I ask. For that I give you land upon which to grow your plants, water in wells to quench your thirst. You owe this saw to your lordship, to me, and today we remember the greatest sacrifice of all, Saint Scorchfeld, my ancestor who died upon a stake so that we might have plenty. And now one person shall bear the sins of this entire year. Bees attacking our town. My cape running out of golden thread. These and other horrible afflictions shall be answered for. Who is the unlucky and yet blessed ingrate, upon which all of our sins shall be burnt away by the fire of salvation?
And like as he's finishing this impassioned mega church speech, you watch as like the clerk who's been tasked with like the final tally like holds it in their hands and looks up, and there's like not an indistinct amount of fear on this clerk's face as they clear their throat and say, this year, to atone for the sins of our community, the people of Scorchfeld
Hurry up now! I have a bubble bath to get to.
have chosen their sacrifice. Congratulations on the honor, Lord Scorchfeld.
Oh, very good. What? Read that. Give me that paper, you illiterate chimp. No. This is a miscount. And I think he starts pulling through the ballots. What? No. Kingsguard, seize this clerk, this treasonous snake. Clearly you've had a hand in this.
And the Kingsguard look to Stag and like nod to them, and then like one on each shoulder come and pick up Lord Scorchfeld
What?
by his arms.
What do you think you're doing?
Strip
Get
him
your
of
hands
the
off me.
the robe that he's wearing and like
No!
toss it to the crowd.
No! They
And
don't
burn the
appreciate high
bastard!
fashion. No! I think he's like kicking and screaming as he's like being lifted up to the stake.
Yep.
And is
Fucking
getting-
coward!
And is getting a Scorchfeld going.
And like definitely all of the like folks that Farhan like really riled up are like back to full vigor. And like everyone takes part in the lighting of this like oiled pyre that sits at the feet of the stake. And I'm not going to get into too much detail about the burning alive of a human, but you watch as the like flames lick up the all too fancy robes that catch too easily, and Connie is poised to do something, so I'm gonna let him.
Tell me if I'm going too far, but as the flames start to lick up Lord Scorchfell's body, no, it burns, please, stop this, I'll give you more, how about double rations, double rations every night, how about that? Okay, fine, you can have my crown and my jewels, it'll become a democracy, but with elected representatives that are educated, because I don't trust the masses. Okay, fine, no representatives, I'm sorry, no, all of you, I'll see you in hell, I'll see you in, I understand the pain the beast must have gone through, this is such poetic divine justice.
And with that, you have brought your town out from under the thumb of Lord Scorchfeld, and I think we're going to call it there and do outros if it's cool by everyone. I'll also let you tell me like if you want like a final character beat for your characters as well.
I think Kasing was just like, while Lord Scorchfeld was screaming there, saying nonsense, Kasing would just go up the stage, their scythe, like the farming scythe in hand, and they raise it up and they say in a very loud voice, "For the people! For the people!"
And you hear the other farmers and workers like begin joining in your chant.
I think during that chant, I think Anne is actually going to try to like speak some poetry over it using the rhythm. So I'll just try to throw For the people. What was it? Say the chant again.
For the people. For the
Hold, let the
people.
sands of time sift
Hold
like
the
lovers saying their good morning
people.
kisses before
For
they leave.
the
We are the
people.
divine anointed,
For
more
the
powerful than royalty.
people.
Saint
For
Scorchfeld, blaze
the
this system from our hearts, from
people.
our minds, from the
For
soil that
the
feeds and nourishes.
people.
Let the fire
For
remove that
the
which stops our growth. From
people.
ash we
For
bloom, from
the
ash we thrive, from
people.
ash we embrace
For
the black and
the
unknown of freedom.
people.
Freedom and
For
even
the
more freedom.
people.
Yeah.
That's it. That's scene. That's
it.
That's the show.
I
That's
can
it.
think of no better way to end it than this. But yeah, so if everyone would like to do outros.
I can start
Yeah.
if everyone's okay with that. Hi, I'm Mitzi. My pronouns are they, them. I played casting, also pronouns they, them, on this wonderful, wonderful game, Brick. I enjoyed this immensely. And yeah, I am also a Filipino trans non-binary variety streamer on Twitch. You can follow me at twitch.tv/pukepeku. That's PUKEPEKU. You could also follow me on Twitter, where I post all of my things. That's also the same username. And one thing I do want to plug is that for the rest of the week until Saturday, GMT +8, every day I have a stream, 8 to 10 p.m. The details are in my tweets about Aagos ng Pag-asa, which translates in English as Hope Flows, or the Hope Flows. This is in support of candidates for the upcoming elections that I'm doing, and we would love for you to come by and listen or chat if you wish to do so. And that's one of the things. The streams would be on YouTube and Facebook, if ever, not on Twitch, because accessibility things. So yeah, if you can drop by, that'd be great. If not, that's okay. If ever, I would like to ask for some signal boosts. That's it. That's me. Val.
Hi everyone, my name is Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I had the distinct pleasure of playing your resident bear leather daddy, Farhan, in today's wonderful playtest of Brick. I'm a bisexual, Daisy, and trans TTRPG performer and Twitch variety streamer. I also play Voska, our UNT Bard, College of Spirits Bard here on Transplanar. And the main thing I want to plug is that I'm having a cooking stream on Saturday where I cook a curry and we chill out and have some lighthearted fun. That's happening on Saturday, I believe, at 10 a.m. EST time zones. But if you want to know more details, you can find me at Valiant Dorian or at Otso Spirit Bear on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, whatever. Good luck on this wonderful treasure hunt. And I'm passing this along over to Erica.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erica. She, her pronouns. Queer white trans woman who apparently got to live out my love of being a spoken word poet. You can find me at Erica New Girl everywhere I exist on the internet. Particularly, I'd like to point to this coming Friday through Sunday. I am raising money for the Lupus Foundation of America. It's a cause. I know there's a lot going on right now and a lot of causes, but this is a cause near and dear for me. So if you could come hang out even during the weekend at my channel, Erica New Girl, it would mean the world to me. And with that, I'm going to pass it to our host, Rue.
Hello, my name is Rue. I use they, he, and z pronouns. You can find me on Twitter as at Ilana Knight 13 and everywhere else as just Ilana Knight without the 13. I'm a tabletop writer and streamer and content creator. This game that we've been playing, Brick, is a game co-written by myself and Quinn B. Rodriguez, and you can get it on Quinn's itch account, and we're currently itch funding to get art by Nala Wu, as well as full layout and a complete set of the rules done, and also pay ourselves for our work, which is cool. You can also catch me on Saturdays on Dicey Amazons, and on every other Sunday on the Huntsman's Hydra playing Blades in the Dark. And if you are interested in curated play, I am the community and social media manager for Tabletail Games, which is a curated play space where our professional GMs run games for you and your friends. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, you can pop over the Tabletail Games on Twitter. And last but not least, our wonderful producer and host, Connie.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to have you, Rue, here for Brick. Wow, that was so much fun. Everyone, get Brick to 500. We've made a lot of progress this stream. I want to thank our community for being so generous and giving. But we can go further, and we're going to be rating Brandy, the cutest patoot, right now. Give them a shout out in chat. Say Transplaner sent you. Use a raid message in chat. Give them a follow if you like their stuff. Either way, rep the brand. I've been Connie. See you Saturday for Transplaner. Bye.
Welcome.